To bald or not to bald? That is the question. So welcome to another video. It's an update video on remedies for baldness, all natural remedies based on the Edgar Cayce channelings. I'm a big Edgar Cayce fan. My name is Monica, and this is a place for learning. So Guru Grit is an ode to learning, hence the name. You need grit to learn anything, and Guru is just to be heavy in knowledge or experience. And I did a video a few years ago on balding based on a viewer question, and primarily giving physical remedies like how to make certain, whatever poultices or salves and apply them to the scalp, diet, etc. But I decided this time around we're going to take more of a spiritual approach. So we're going to include a spiritual exercise that comes from Chinese traditional medicine. And so in any case, my name is Monica and welcome to Guru Grit, a place for learning. And you could find me on gurugrit.com for astrology readings. I'm on Etsy. I actually sell these pretty rare, they're not in mass print anymore, but rare spiritual books, occult books, astrology books, Atlantis, aliens, anything strange, or if you're like me, woo are out there, I've got you, okay? So you can find me on there. TikTok, I go live on TikTok, and I'm going to be posting in advance when I go live on my Instagram, so be sure to follow me on Instagram under Guru Grit. Okay, if you have any questions, leave a comment, or you can message me privately. I respond to private correspondences. I obviously don't like out people, but if you have a genuine question, I'm happy to answer it for you if I know how to answer it. We're all learning together. So, as I mentioned in the first video, I think there was something about like onion head wraps or fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek supplement also for women. Fenugreek increases breast size growth, but you do have to take it for a very long time in massive quantities, I imagine, and it makes you smell. Some people say it makes them smell like maple syrup. Some people say makes them smell like cumin, and some people say it makes them smell absolutely rotten. So I don't know. You do what works for you, but so on baldness. So according to the Edgar Cayce approach, I do have another book kicking around somewhere. Yes, there it is. Baldness is an overstimulation of the adrenals. So one of the things that he says is that every remedy for every person is basically a spiritual solution. The physical component will differ from one person to the next, as we know. Like everybody reacts differently to pharmaceuticals or supplements, etc., foods, whatever else, okay? But once you find what the root cause of that thing is and you shift it, you basically can heal yourself. That's the premise, okay? So for baldness, a general remedy would be to make sure that maybe you get some thyroid testing, get a panel, or then you can, or whatever your doctor recommends, but then also iodine. Cases iodine is quite important. As we know, in the modern age, we are very much overstimulated visually and sonically. Okay, our ears cannot take very much. I live in Toronto. It's loud anywhere you go. It's just constant noise pollution. You sit in a cafe, there's like blasting club music. You go eat brunch, it's blasting music. Anything you do, it's just loud and stimulating all the time. It's 2025. Everyone has a device. I see children with devices, okay? So this is very, very taxing on one's nervous system. And even when you sit down when you're tired to like doom scroll, you're still not fully properly resting. Okay, so this is just the beginning stages. We should probably do something to minimize the effects of that overstimulation. Okay. Another thing I'd like to add is endocrine disruptors. I think women are much more sensitive to this than men. There's a book that I love so much. I talk about it all the time. Dr. Elisa Vitti, The Woman Code. And she just explains how to get your hormones balanced and like live in the flow, as she calls it. And the first part basically addresses endocrine disruption. So this candle is not a scented candle. Okay, try to use natural candles, scented candles, body sprays, the perfumed things we add to our laundry, like scent beads, anything artificially scented, those things disrupt your endocrine system. So you will see oftentimes things like in women, okay, irregular periods as a result of environmental pollutants, but even in men, acne as well as women, okay? So emotional and mental instability, eventually these things add up. It makes us very anxious. We lose sleep. And when you have poor sleep pattern, pretty much nothing else works. And I know I'm nocturnal, so I'm mentally unstable. So there you go. It's not funny though, is it? so so that's the first part. Is just look at what you can do without. Can you use a natural deodorant? Can you use a natural toothpaste, natural skincare that's not scented, it's oil free, whatever, okay? So, in terms of spiritual things for the kidneys, so why are the kidneys so important and what does that have to do with hair loss? So, according to Chinese traditional medicine, and if you're new here, I talk about the work of Master Montauk Chia quite a bit. Him and his wife, they have amazing work. He writes amazing books, okay? So, he explains that this is linked to baldness. Okay, the kidneys are linked to baldness. What tends to happen energetically is an, let's say, overstimulation of the kidneys. This comes through the overproduction of sexual desire. So, what tends to happen is in the modern age, unlike anyone before it, we have easy, quick exposure to sex. Okay, like MIA says, I forget which song she says, "Sex is so cheap, I get it at KFC." That line always makes me laugh, but sad, but it's true. So, watching pornography, swiping on a dating app, all these things increase one's desire. Okay. Looking at pretty people on Instagram, you were not meant to see so many faces um, in your lifetime, especially beautiful ones and bodies and things like this. Okay. Promiscuity, and do not misunderstand me. I know my audience is smart. I don't want anybody being like, oh, there's no shame. And I didn't say anything about shame. I'm not shaming people who hook up or have multiple partners or whatever. I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective. This is considered harmful to the spirit and the body. So that's it. You do what you want. I'm not shaming you. I don't care. I'm not involved. Obviously, if I cared, I would be. I'm not. So you are meant to feel the stirring of sexual desire or creative forces, which is the most powerful force in the world. It creates life toward one person, and that's it. We are spiritually made to be monogamous. We are spiritually made to be committed and safe before we sleep with someone. Okay, so also, as you know, if you don't know, I've studied Tantra for a few years now. I like this is a fun little book, but it's like tools for Tantra. But I have a stack of Tantra books I can't pull out now because other books will come falling down. But basically, it is recommended that when you sleep with someone or sexually desire someone, you are very, very bonded to them. Okay, so you're not just like, oh, we talked for 3 months, we went on a few dates, we both agreed to be official, so now I'm safe. No, this takes time to build. Okay, so ideal is marriage. Okay, but a happy marriage. You can't just be married and like hate each other. It doesn't count. You have to be spiritually stable and secure. That's the person that's supposed to feed you. Okay. Spiritually, you feed each other. I'm not going to go into the dynamics of it. I discussed this on my Patreon under the Tantra list. But when we give our energy forces, our creative forces, our sexual energy, our arousal, and our attention every single day to, a mass of faceless faces that you're swiping and looking at, bodies that you've touched, names you've forgotten, faces you've forgotten, people you don't care about, that drains you. This is very, very draining. Okay. So in the spiritual realm, it's basically a form of vampirism. Okay, I do have two videos on vampirism. You can look them up on YouTube. I'll link them. So this is very unhealthy. So when my aunt, I was watching TV with my aunt a few years ago, and she was like, "I've never seen so many young bald men. Like, what is going on?" And I'm thinking, "You think they're pumping something in the school milk?" I was like, "Oh, honey, they're like porn rotted. Like we're just looking at too many naked people. We're too desirous, okay, and we feel entitled to that. But you forget yourself, okay? You're meant to earn those things. In the Kama Sutra, a man had to be so many things before he could even be considered a prospect for a woman, okay? He had to be very skilled, patient, talented, noble, honest, like, oh my, all these things, okay? Like, as a rite of passage in ancient cultures, men would have to do very difficult things to earn the right to wedlock, okay, to impress someone. Swim shark infested waters or what have you, okay, crocodile infested waters in Egypt, but it was a fake crocodile, probably a clay one, but still. So this affects us in the modern age, okay? We're not supposed to have that many partners. We're not supposed to feel unsafe in love. We're supposed to feel safe in love. Okay, speaking of love, we're doing 30 days to find your perfect mate on Patreon. Okay. Um, So in any case, this is the major thing, all right? It's just an overexposure to this idea of arousal, and it's not your fault. Like, you just live in this world. This is just, it's a crazy place. This is just what it is. Okay? So I mean, this week, didn't that Gene commercial come out with an actress, and everybody's making fun of it? It's like, why is, and I remember in my time there was a really sexy commercial with Paris Hilton that was, she was like writhing in a bikini on top of a car selling hamburgers. And I was like, we literally use sex to sell hamburgers. We use sex to sell denim. Like, we use sex for everything but what it's meant for, which is like bonding and the propagation of the speed. It's a beautiful, it's a sacred thing. We've taken the sacredness out of it. So our bodies are suffering the consequences. We're hormonally imbalanced, men and women. I don't think there's a winner in this. Okay, we're all screwed. So what can you do about it if you are overstimulated? And understand that I'm not saying you have to actually do these things. It's an energy thing. This is an energy thing. So you could be celibate at home and still desirous, okay? But that energy is not healthy, okay? And astrologically, in the nakshatras, you'll see this a lot with the Falgunis and sometimes with the Ashadas. They're very energetic nakshatras. These nakshatras, these people have incredible stamina, incredible primal force, primal energy. They tend to be really creative, really sexual, really just busy. They're enduring. They're always doing something. Like, if you're like, if you know like a Purva or an Uttara Ashada, man or woman in like their 70s, they're probably they don't slow down. Hard, probably not retired, gardening a lot, painting, decorating, crafting. Like, they're always making something because that sexual energy needs somewhere to go, right? So it sustains them, it keeps them quite youthful. And I mean, there's a lot of like things you can research, like the White Tigress Society in the East, where a lot of women learn to hold their sexual energy, okay? And they don't age very quickly. They age very, very slowly, and they don't tend to encounter a lot of health problems because their auras are very, very strong. So that's going a lot into a lot of tantric practices. But just a very quick thing that you can do from Chinese traditional medicine. I have like a lot of books on healing and spiritual and astrological things, occult things on my Etsy. Go check it out, etsy.com, and then look up Guru Grit Astrology. I'll link it in the thing. But I'm going through this book right now, and I just felt it was really fascinating. I wanted to share. So, Soul, Mind, Body, Medicine by Dr. Ji Gang Shah. I don't like, obviously, I just found this. I thought this was like really cool. And Dr. Montauk Chia. Okay, so I love Montauk Chia. If you've been here before, I talk about him a lot. But I read, I was gifted. I don't know why somebody would do this. An adult gave me this. It sounds creepy, but it's not. But they just like knew I liked spiritual stuff. So when I was 17, I was still in high school. I was given the book "Cultivating Female Sexual Energy" by Montauk Chia and his wife, and I was like, oh, like, I just like don't have to be tired. I could just like breathe and feel good, So just sort of was the beginning of like planting the seed of how powerful your mind actually is. So I've been doing this exercise. I'm not joking, for about maybe this year's my 16th year, 15 years. Okay. As I mentioned in a previous video, I had a very, very negative introduction to the working world, where I started working at a hospital. It was horrible. I was bullied all the time. It was just like really nasty, just like low vibrational, ew. And to stop myself from having like meltdowns, I would do these breathing exercises. So the liver stores anger, but the kidneys store fear. Okay, so like I said, if I looked at your chart and you had a lot of this primal energy, I would tell you you need to find outlets for it. You will drive yourself mad, okay, and your body will experience symptoms. So it could be balding, it could be lots of things, okay, acne, painful periods, whatever, right? Um, and so what you would want to do then is analyze. Okay, so balding is linked to the kidneys. The kidneys store fear. So what is it that we're afraid of? So a lot of the times, like, men might think, I'm afraid I won't find someone to want me, or something like that, right? Like, they're desirous of women or women desirous of them. And then you can flip that around and say the same thing. Women might think, I don't know if I'll find someone I actually want, vice versa. Okay, so maybe there's some subconscious fear around desire. And especially when it comes to sex, I feel, especially when people are younger, they there's a sense of urgency to youth. You know, young people just feel like you're going to run out of time, or you have a lot of it, but it has to happen now. So if it doesn't happen when you're 26, it'll never happen. You know, things that, like, I thought those things. I'm not a patient person. I had to learn that. It's very painful. I'm still getting there. But, you know, I always thought, oh, like if it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen. But about anything in life. But when you're young, you take that pretty badly. So if you, let's say you're no, you are 26, man or woman, 26 years old, and you're thinking, okay, I'm not on the property ladder, I'm not getting these promotions, I don't own a car, how am I going to get a mate? Da, 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 da. Okay, that fear stores and adds up, and it can affect hair loss. Okay, so it can affect other things in the body, obviously, but we're discussing hair loss. So what is recommended, this is what I would do when I was really, really fed up at work. I would do these two exercises in tandem. One is for the liver, because the liver stores anger, and I was trying very, very hard not to lose my temper because I have a malefic in the second house. And then I would go to the kidneys. I would address the fear, okay? So the sound, it's basically a sound. I discussed this in the previous video for the lungs. And this sound, I would pronounce it as kind of like shui, or like chui, or like shway, or some people pronounce it as like shu or you. So let's just say like shu. Okay, let's go with that. shyu. Okay. So there's a corresponding color to the organs. So what I would do, if you don't want to think of the color, just think of a white light or like a golden light healing you. This, what I would do, I would inhale like blue for the kidneys, or a white light to clean yourself out. I would inhale and visualize that light going into the kidneys, and then as you exhale, I would like push it out with my hands because I'm getting the fear out, and I would push out, like in my mind, visualize a gray, like a dark, murky, ugly energy. So black smoke, or like just like a fog. So you would like inhale, like, and imagine the blue going into your kidneys, and then you go shoo, like that, and push as long as you exhale. Okay, and just do that a few times for a few minutes until you feel better and the fear is gone. Okay, so a lot of the times I think people are like, they're afraid of going bald, or they're afraid of aging, or they're afraid of, but why are you afraid? Like, think about it. If you're bald or old or whatever, fat or thin, married, unmarried, poor, rich, it's a privilege just to exist. As long as you're alive, it's okay. Like, your body's your vehicle for your soul, okay? So you're supposed to take care of it. It's the temple, okay? But there's nothing, I don't think, I think we should remove the shame of being human. Like, being a human being is a really weird experience. I always thought that, like, even as a kid, I was like, it's so weird. Like, our bodies like leak when we cry, and we're like, we smell weird. Like, we're all just like bizarre. You know what I mean? Like just really, really strange experience. So just remove some of the stigma off of yourself just for being human and like actually living. So I think that would help a lot with the reduction of stress. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm a woman. You know, since you're a little girl, a lot of pressure is put on you to be beautiful and gracious. And you're like, I'm 6. Who cares? You want to go like roll in the mud, you know? You're just like, you can't do that, Monica. I used to get in trouble all the time because I loved climbing trees when I was little, and I would fall out of them and slide down, scratch my knees. My legs are covered in scars to this day from that, but it was a fun childhood. I spent a lot of time outside, okay? And my mom, I remember getting her, she got so mad once because I got blood on my clothes again. And she was like, not only were those new, that was like the one time we had guests and it was like a holiday, and you just like walk, all the other kids were normal, and you walk through the door with like pieces of tree in your hair and you're covered in blood. And she was like, oh, for God's sake, can like I just have one normal day where I'm not washing blood out of your clothes, you know? And I was just like, but it's a lot. So think to your past. Like, I felt like, oh, as a kid, like, I understand my mother's frustration. That's tiring. She's tired from hosting and working and mothering, and now she's got to do this crap all over again. You know, it's exhausting. But search your heart. You know, what has put that pressure on you to look a certain way or be a certain way? And then just once you pinpoint that memory, you just like release it and it's gone. Just like the breath work. Shui, like, and it's gone, and that's it. And you don't ever have to think about it again. And God willing, you know, you won't lose your hair and everything will be fine. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. You can find me on gurugrit.com. Look me up on Etsy. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm happy to do. I always love medicine stuff. So I think I'm going to go on a little bit of a health kick before Virgo season and go over things. I might do more liver things. And yes, we're doing 30 days to find your perfect mate on Patreon right now. So go join my Patreon and learn more about that. I have a whole stuff. I have lots of stuff on there about health and tantra, etc. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'd be happy to answer anything to the best of my ability as and when I can. All right. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.